welcome back to Vizaural Music, the music podcast where we talk about tracks that we found on Bandcamp and SoundCloud and were sent in by people just like you. We're back with the full house today. My name is Ryan. As always, we got Craig.
Hello. I was going to make a Fuller House joke, but I haven't seen the show. Kimmy Gibbler.
I'm sure it's great. And
my joke.
And we got Onel back as well. Onel.
Hello.
Yeah. So what do you have to, Onel? How was the line for Star Wars that we mentioned?
You finally just got back from that line. You didn't.
No, I'm
you didn't
still
go
in
see
line.
Oh.
Okay. Well, it's good that you are now Skyping in, via that line.
Yeah.
Is this like one town
a lot of
where they
people,
just love Star Wars so
pumped.
much that they're just,
What's that?
is everyone just in line at this one town in San Diego to see Star Wars? It's like the one place where they're kind of reliving the original Star Wars.
Yeah, well, there's only one theater and they only have one show in a day.
Oh, well, that's smart. That keeps demand. Keeps demand up high.
Yeah, and if a bit of advice, I just stay in line. Don't go into the movie and watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but I plan not to because I read the synopsis and whew, ouch.
Yeah.
Well, I've been off the internet for like a month now, so we're all real pumped. We're all real pumped for it.
Just waiting to get to that movie.
Well, if you're new to our show, we talk about some tracks, and we got some great ones here today. And before we get into that, and you can listen to our Star Wars talks in previous episodes if you really want to dig into that, we now know that it is award season. And, of course, the Academy, they've released all of the films that the right-minded person should go see, and and respectable individuals to say that they have cherished and are willing to talk about. And I know that one of the big films was The Joker. Have you guys seen The Joker yet?
I have. I watched it the other night, and it was a pile of crap.
It's not a great movie. I wouldn't say it's a pile of crap, though.
I would. I mean, nothing happens. There's like literally 4 scenes in the entire movie, and none of them should follow from each other.
I mean, we could probably get into this, even though Ono has not seen The Joker, so that's the best kind of review when someone hasn't seen the movie. Actually, my favorite reviews are the ones where they're like, hey, this movie is this, but it really should have been this movie. And I'm always like, okay, that's not what the movie they made. It wasn't, geared towards what it was you wanted to create. Is there a reason, Ono, you have not seen The Joker? Because you and I, we're comic book people. You've seen probably more Marvel movies than the average consumer. You've probably seen a lot of the DC films too, right?
Okay, here's the thing. So I stopped like halfway through the Marvel stuff, and I've not seen any of the DC movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably smart, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Wonder Woman was good, but I think that was pretty much it.
I wouldn't say good.
Really?
It was just a fine popcorn movie, and that's
It was
the
a lot
thing
better
about
than what
these
came
movies.
before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. I mean, it's been the best DC movie, which is like saying the crap that I had this morning was,
Yes.
a good. I don't know where I'm going with that crap. It was very good crap. Yeah.
You've got crap on the brain, don't you?
I have some theories about why the Joker got this many nods by the Academy. We'll get into that. All right, let's go to our first track here. This is Josh Lay, a Baltimore singer-songwriter, with his song She Got It.
I don't know if I can stand beside you. You say you got flaws, I say not at all. I like to show you all. Let's go. Ooh, kill him. You ain't gotta do a thing. No. Everything about you says it all. Look at you, baby. She's a natural. That's what I like. Ooh, yeah. She ain't gotta try. Oh, no. She got it. You got it. A natural.
So I found this song. This is super awesome. Everyone here better like this song. I'm going to punch you if you don't. I'm surprised that, sometimes on this show we'll pick bands that clearly have a following. There's a whole bunch of people who have bought it. You can see the little faces on Bandcamp. This one doesn't seem to have any, but I just have to believe it's because this is like a vinyl reissue, because this guy is like Grammy nominated. It's so polished. It sounds great. It's like this ethereal R&B. So I mean, I pray to God that there's a lot more people listening to it out there, that it's not just, we're not the first ones to hear this piece. Obviously, the Grammys liked it. Speaking of awards. But how about you, Ano? What did you think of this?
I thought it was okay.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
You know, you were gone for a whole month standing in line in Star Wars. It's ruined you. It's made you a worse person, I think.
Yeah, I like terrible things now.
Okay. But well,
He likes the Joker.
Oh, okay, cool.
the movie you haven't
Nailed
seen.
it.
That's great.
Isn't that how it works nowadays?
It is. You know, you either
does,
hate it or
yes.
love it prior to it being released based
Right.
on what someone told you online.
Exactly.
Okay. So what do you think about
But,
this song, though?
So I thought I did like it, but I didn't think it was like fantastic. I like the lyrical content. You know, it's kind of like about, I'm assuming his lady,
About how she got it.
about how she got it,
I didn't pick up on that.
and how, you know, she's like, you know, this really great, strong person, and she's got it, you know. So I like that. But I felt like it was like, I don't know, I just felt like it was like a little held back a little bit
Yeah, that's
to
true.
me personally. So I just thought I was waiting for like a little bit more oomph, I guess.
I mean, we have some
It never
tracks in
came.
this show and next show, which I think probably based on the ones you picked, I could see where you're going with this. That you
Okay.
kind of wanted a little more in the way of, you want some horn sections, you want that beat to pick up. You
Yeah, I
want
want
that to be
yeah, exactly.
booty
Something-
shaker.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I did enjoy it. I will say that the vinyl that you mentioned is being sold for $40, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
That is. I have to believe it's just they don't make that many, and it
Maybe.
sounds expensive. Like if you're a Grammy-nominated artist, you probably have a manager and all that crap. So
Yeah,
gotta pay people, man.
I don't know. I haven't even bought the last Daft Punk album because it's $40.
Whoa, is it $40?
Yes.
Dang.
So I'd have a hard time buying this one for 40 as well, I'd say.
Is that just a norm? I mean, I know not every record's $40, but
No,
is that just like for major releases though? To say, hey, we know you're gonna buy this. You like Daft Punk? Give us $40.
I don't know why that one is so expensive. I'd say normal is like $25-30 for like a
Mm-hmm.
big band.
Which is still too much.
It's
but-
still too much.
Yeah, that seems so
Still way
expensive.
too much.
How about you,
Yeah.
Greg?
I'm a cheap piece of shit. And you can cut that out and
I won't.
just clip that and just, you know, whenever I say something dumb, you can just drop in, I'm a cheap piece of shit.
I would trust me. We'd have no show left if I had to do that.
You'd also be assuming that Ryan does like a lot of editing on this show.
Yeah, that's also
there's-
something you
there's-
assume too much of me.
Yeah, there's 100% chance that he did not fix the error previous to this.
It's an Easter egg.
Yeah,
People like that, right?
It's an Easter egg that
Yeah.
you just didn't take out and left it right out in the open.
Just
Ooh,
like
we
the
should
Joker.
start adding mid-credit sequences to our podcast. Is that possible?
You know, we should.
Yeah, because we have such long credits at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm as much as it pains me to say, I'm on Hillside on this one. It was fine. It was inoffensively offensive. Like it was just down the middle, an old school R&B jam. You know, production value is great, almost too proficient like sounding. You know, like it was just, I don't know. We're gonna get into a track in like a couple of minutes that just blows this one out of the water. Spoiler alert. Also,
I think
spoiler
that's
alert
fair.
for the Joker. It's none of the events in the movie actually happened. It was all just stupid in his mind, and it's just dumb. And I hate it.
I don't actually know if I buy that reading, but I don't
Or
know.
is it ambiguous?
Does it matter?
So you actually think you got onto the late night talk show?
Yes.
Really?
I don't know. Only
that's
because I
at-
feel like otherwise there's no narrative point. It's kind of just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What's the point?
That's how dumb the movie is.
Wait, I have a question. Did he
Yeah.
did he actually dance at the top of those stairs?
He did.
Okay, cool.
In
That's all that
real
matters.
life?
Yeah, no, it was
I-
CGI. Like Attack of the Clones.
That'd be so great.
Attack on the Clones. It was one of the 5,000
Jar Jar Binks
Jokers.
walks in down the stairs with them.
I would honestly like that movie a lot more. So you actually think that he caused a giant riot?
I don't think he caused that. He was just another person. It was just that moment of chaos. It's like, you know, in a revolution where all this stuff's happening and he just was there at the right time. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the Joker not having an origin, or at least the origin is really
that's the whole point.
convoluted and just like kind of like it was in The Dark Knight Returns, where he gives like 3 different origins of his life. I'm like,
Right.
that's cool. I like that. We don't need to have the definitive story of Joker.
Well, who cares really either?
Yeah, who cares?
It doesn't matter where he came from. The only thing that matters is that he's just this psychotic person that just causes chaos.
Well, how about the performance by Joaquin Phoenix? I mean, I felt like people are giving a lot of credit, and of course, he's a great actor, so he's like way better than anything I could do. However, this role I felt was very like not nuanced. It just had a very simple, like it's just him laughing like a crazy person a lot.
Yeah, and then just saying his other lines, uncomfortable. uncomfortably. Like I don't know, man. And the sad part is I had zero expectations going into the movie. So I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna like this because I expect this to be shitty. And it didn't even reach those levels. Like I didn't even reach my such low expectations.
Well, let's get to something that definitely does not have low expectations. There we go. That's a pivot. This is Daisy Godfrey from Nottingham with her song Many Shades. This is a great song. Anya, I know you found this.
How do you know?
Because they have like 8,000 followers.
Oh, really? Well, it was
I don't know.
I think it was a record label. But anyways, yeah, I did find this. If it's going to be like a jazzy kind of electric piano with a nice sultry female vocal, yeah, it's me. And all those reasons are the reasons I really liked it. Mm-hmm. And I thought she's a really good vocalist. I thought she did a really good job.
I find that like I listen to just the radio sometimes when my kids are in the car because I can't put anything on without them complaining. So I'm like just scanning through, and I'll often hear popular pop songs, or at least I guess what's on popular radio. And a lot of the times I find that there must be a really low standard right now for vocalists because either they're buying their way in, or it's just some rich kid who's able to get like great producers. But the vocals are so strained and so terrible. You're like, why do you think you can be a singer? And this is to show you like, oh no, this is what like a competent person sounds like. This is what like a good band sounds like.
Yeah.
Like just let this person be on the radio and you rich kids go home.
Yeah, but she doesn't have the money to get on the radio, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Craig, how about this? You like it? You dislike it? You love it? You hate it?
This track basically had everything that the previous track was lacking. I like this quite a bit. The different layers actually gave the song some energy and propulsiveness, and it just had a lot more. It kept my interest throughout the entire thing, and it wasn't like the Josh Lay track was like, all right, yeah, this is good, this is fine, I can just skip to the next track, whatever. Mm-hmm. And again, like you said, her voice has way more character to it as well, and it just made me happy. You made me happy with one of your songs.
Oh wow, I did it. And I would say that the only thing that sucks is that there's only one song. I was hoping for more. I kind of want to see what else she could do.
I went on to Spotify just to see like, well, maybe she just has a little bit on Bandcamp, but nope, just found this one song. So it's on my liked playlist at this point. But I'll be listening to it a lot more.
It has a great outro too.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks like a rock star too. I mean, we listen to a lot of music where it's competent people, but you see it, you're like, even the 90s or the 80s when people were making more money, you just don't have the look. I see that cover and I'm like, bam, yeah, you could be a star.
Oh no, yeah, she looks cool. She's got the leather jacket, the buttoned up top. Looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks cool. All right.
Yeah, wearing a shirt, having a jacket.
Well, it's not just a jacket and a shirt. It's how it looks,
Yeah, Craig, when you wear a shirt, you don't look like a rock star.
And you wear shirts every day of your life, I think.
And I never once looked like a rock star in my life.
No, you did not. All right, well, let's take a listen to the next song here. We talk a little bit more about the Academy and the Joker.
Wait, I do have a question about the Joker.
Oh yeah,
real quick. Is it in the world of Batman? Like, is Batman ever mentioned in any way or form?
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne is in it.
Is he really?
Yep, and his parents are in it.
As a child.
Yes.
Wait, so when he becomes Batman, Joker's gonna be like 70 years old? How old is Joaquin Phoenix?
I mean, he's at least. I mean, he looks like Joaquin Phoenix. He looks really old, but I mean, I think he's supposed to be like in his 30s. I kind of that's what I felt like. But I always thought the
Yeah.
Joker was a little older anyway. That seemed to make sense to me. But
I think he's
don't know
older
why I
than
thought
Batman, but not like 40 years
But not
older.
30 years older.
that.
Like
Whatever.
Bruce Wayne was a small child.
Yeah.
And then like at the end, obviously you have this scene where his parents get shot in front of him.
Did you know that happened to Batman?
I did not.
Yeah, and
I
then
know.
like they grabbed the pearl necklace and the they went flying all over. It's like,
Oh, wow.
just shove a spoon up your ass. I don't know. It's just so stupid.
Well, let me get to the next song, which is not stupid. This is from a band called
you.
Kassi Valazza with their song Verde River.
Years go by while I pass the time, but I just can't seem to leave. It's hard enough just to keep myself from trying. I think of all the people that have gone and passed me by the banks of the yellow verde river. By the banks of the yellow verde river, I filled my pockets full of its gold.
This has also got to be a Hungy pick because if it's going to be like an old school twangy country song, it's got the Hungy mark. So
That's
Hungy,
true.
this is you, right?
Yeah, I do want to say I think her name is Cassie.
That's probably right. And I should say for every band that I share our episodes with, like, hey, we talked about your song, know that I will absolutely destroy your name. In fact, some of these that are in perfectly simple English, I will still find a way to just...
Frankly, I'm surprised you got Josh Lay correct.
So, I know why this song.
Just has that real nice kind of like a 60s kind of country sound that you just don't hear too much these days. I want to say this one also has a very nice... Oh, so at the very end of it has a very nice outro that reminded me of the Beach with Sparks. It's very
Yeah, I thought the same
like
thing.
spacey, psychedelic kind of country rock kind of sound to it. And again, great vocals. I love her vocal.
How about
Very
you,
good.
Craig? You like this?
All right, I'm going to preface this with what I'm about to say. It's first things first. I really did like this. Now I'm about to say some really dumb shit.
No way.
Yeah. So I think this would have been better had I not seen that she grew up in Arizona and now lives in Portland. Because no one that was born and raised in Arizona and now lives in Portland should sing like this. And it is a frustrating thing when you like... I don't know, when you have that affectation to your vocals, like just so... Like I get you want to play the genre or whatever, and the voice is an instrument for that, but it is a little bothersome to me. And the other really dumb thing, and I understand why, but verde means green, and she was talking about the yellow banks.
yeah.
Yeah, I know it's talking about the gold on the river banks, and it's just there, but it just annoyed me, because you didn't really find out that it was about gold until like 3 bars later, and I was like, for those 15 seconds, I'm like, why the fuck are you talking about the yellow-green river? And I don't know, but I really liked it, and I listened to a lot of the other tracks, and they're very good. And I do agree with Hungy. I do like the spacey psychedelic touches to it, and they do note that in like the little tags for the tracks. But I don't know. I'm just a cranky old man on this one. But like I said, I really liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm less into like, oh, that's a person is authentically Oklahoman, or that's like the sound. At this point, I mean, there's like almost no American accent left, or any regional accent left. It's all just been changed by television.
Have you been to New England?
Yeah, but I mean, all those people, they're just playing it up at this point. I don't believe actually people in New England have that accent. I just think they want to sound like, yeah, I'm from Boston. I like eating clam chowder.
You sound like Ice-T.
Go Brady.
You sound like Ice-T
Brady
was
for
from
president.
was from New England.
What was that?
It kind of sounds like if Ice-T was from New England.
He was.
Yeah, that was the worst New England accent I've ever heard.
No, but this is good stuff. I mean, I think that I listen to this and it makes me depressed for other reasons that I just, again, think about popular radio, popular music, and country radio is probably the worst place in the world. Like, next to the alternative radio stations that just play stuff from like 94 through 99, it's like my least favorite realm of music. And for whatever reason, it's a juggernaut. And I think there's so many great country singers and country bands that aren't just doing the same old suburban strip mall kind of sounding country music, and it's a shame that they don't get more credit. So I wish this band would get some more attention.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There you go. Let's go to the next song then. This is Child Actress with their song Vague Sessions. Craig, in our notes, this was a listener suggestion. So
Yes.
help us out with this.
So one of the listeners of this fine podcast,
So they exist.
Hey, we have some out there too, guys.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are there.
Okay, good.
yeah, there's like 4 or 5 of them. Sent us this track. He is from Calgary. Child Actress is from Calgary, and it was I don't know. To me, I think it was a cheating track because it has that classic '80s shoegaze feel to it, almost the Cocteau Twins like vocals and instrumentation with obviously a haunting female vocal style to it. It's kind of like the Daisy Godfrey song, that everything in there was meant to be for Hungy, and everything in here was meant to be for me, and I liked it a lot. It was plodding, it was soaring, it was dirgy, and it was chilling, and that's what I like to hear. And
Yeah.
it was good. It was a good suggestion, and I'm glad it got put on our radar.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought this, like you mentioned, 90s shoegaze, blah blah blah. But I felt that the lyrics and the direction of the song, compared to a lot of the 90s shoegaze that I do listen to, which again I listen to it, I like it. Things like Slow Dive, but I feel like this track by Child Actress just had more to it. There was actually a little more intention to like the lyrics and things like that, not just trying to create this big muffled wall of cool sound. But how about you, Ano?
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I noticed that the artist has a career as a live sound engineer, which I feel like really you can really tell based on like just the sound of the song itself. Like this, it's just like beautifully produced. There's like this like tinkling kind of piano that in the background that's way back there, but you can when you hear it, you can hear it. It's really good. And I also read that this project is kind of like a way for her to deal with grief over being a widow. So I thought, lyrically again, like that, you can really understand what's going on there once you know the story.
Yeah.
Like today, when I was re-listening to these right before our show, just making sure my notes are there, I was now wearing my audiophile headphones now that I'm at my computer, and I picked up some of those things you had mentioned, like, oh, this is someone who knows how to put sounds together that I didn't hear when I was in my car, and my car speakers that just don't have that fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh my audiophile headphones. Look at this guy. I live in Marin County, or whatever county you live in Santa Rosa, where all the millionaires live.
It's true. We have a giant homeless camp now.
Oh,
so
cool.
We got that going.
Yeah, you truly are now officially part of the Bay Area.
Yes, I know. They actually call us Baby San Francisco for a number of reasons, but that's one of them.
Well,
That and the heroin.
I feel like those are kind of intertwined.
They generally are, yes.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, let's talk more about movies.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks,
Here's a
George
question I have for you,
Lucas.
though. Because
Okay.
I am actually genuinely confused by the Joker getting so many
It got a
nominations.
lot.
is
11.
Is this just? I mean, people always say like, "Oh, the Academy, it's like a conspiracy." There's a lot of people in the Academy,
Yeah.
but there generally are trends because they are generally older white guys that are in the industry and they know what people are saying about the Academy, so they'll try to like bend to be like, "Okay, we got to be more inclusive," or "We got to talk about bigger movies or popular films." Is this just them saying, "Fine, we'll talk about one of your comic book movies, dorks, but we'll only pick the one that is kind of
a
acceptable"?
real movie?
I mean.
In their
Like
mind.
it has a real actor. It's not just a bunch of special effects. Is that what this is?
Probably.
I think maybe like it, and it's like it's frustrating because it's like purposefully slow, and boring and everything. So like I think the Academy, they're like, oh well, this is an art house serious type of flick that just happens to be in a comic book universe. Instead of like dark and gritty, it's just super slow and nothing happens, and they're like just hooting and hollering in the back of the theater, just like throwing shit at the wall. They're so excited, and it's like, no, it's stupid and dumb. Like I'm sorry, I seem very mean. And then you're like talking about the inclusivity stuff. Isn't it another year where like no women
Yes,
and no
is.
people of color got nominated for anything again?
Yeah. One of those years.
Well,
I
think-
I mean,
Like the last 90 years.
yeah. But I mean, but I feel
and
like
they
they
give
can
it to
only they can only pat themselves on the back one thing at a time. Like one year they're gonna be like, okay, this year, like we'll let a woman director or something be nominated, and then one year it's gonna be
but
like,
they
okay,
won't win.
This year it's gonna be a comic book movie. But actually, I feel like this probably has a chance of winning just because it has like a few of the right things that the Academy likes, and now that they nominate so many films, I feel like films like Parasite are just not gonna. They're not going to have enough votes. It's going to be The Irishman and it's going to be this, which ironically, like this movie is such a ripoff of Taxi Driver. And if you've never seen Taxi Driver, Martin Scorsese, it's an amazing movie. I mean, it's a great like snapshot of that era of film and commenting on society and commenting on film. And this one is just, it seems so out of place. It's like, what are we actually commenting on
This one's
here?
about Gotham City,
Shut up.
not New York.
Oh.
This is about Gotham.
I feel like maybe it
got
could be
it.
kind of like a thing where
City.
like, how a lot of people say like, oh, graphic novel and blah blah blah. But it's like, no, you're reading a comic book. You're not reading a graphic novel. You're reading a fucking comic book for
Yeah.
babies. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of the same thing. It's like okay, comic book movie, but it's not a comic book movie. It's not Avengers Endgame or what did DC even have a movie this year? This last year?
I honestly
Aquaman.
have no
Or
idea.
was Aquaman this year?
did that come
I think
out
so.
last
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Wow,
And that was a huge
feels
hit.
like- oh, that was.
So it's
ugh.
kind of like, oh, this
it
is
was
like
not
a
good either.
cool. This is like a cool version of a comic book movie.
But like, what I don't understand,
better.
like they got like sound design or something like that. Like, what sound design?
I mean, that's stuff where I have to imagine people who know more about the little technical things, understood it that I didn't, that I'll have to give them that.
Like, what, you could really hear him cackle for like 5 minutes straight to be
Or maybe
so
it's like, I
uncomfortable
don't
you
know.
just wanted to stop? Like, I just don't.
Hey, you just made fun of me for having audiophile headphones. So, were you listening to this movie with some nice headphones? I don't think so. That's right.
No, if I was, well, I was listening to it with earbuds in. They're
Oh,
from
well, see, there you
Google.
go. How are you going to pick
Yeah.
up good sound design with these little crappy things in your ears?
Do you know how some people
Yeah,
can
fair
get like
enough.
headphones at the theater? Do you think those are audiophile headphones, or do you think there's just some garbage
No,
ass like
definitely not.
Walmart headphones?
Yeah, they're like, here, we have to allow
Here's some
you
skull
people who
candies.
can't hear anything. Here's your thing.
Yeah,
Give us your money. If they
they
did,
just
I mean,
get,
they
get all the
left.
leftover. They get all the leftover. I was gonna say microphones, headphones from like airliners that have like the two prongs, and you can only plug one in, so you only have half the audio.
What a great design. Speaking of great design, let's go to the next track. This is one from Santa Rosa, a band called M Section with their song No Yes. I found the song. It's
Oh,
the Santa
really?
Rosa track. I always try to bring one in. Yeah, did you
Wow.
guys know that?
Did not know that.
I
Oh,
did
did you
not
guys know
realize that.
there is Santa Rosa in many countries, and so when I put in Santa Rosa, I actually will get some cool. I'll have to do a whole show of like Santa Rosa from Argentina and Chile and Brazil.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Anyway, this one is from Santa Rosa in
California?
California. It's fist pumping goodness. It's this riff centered hardcore. It's a good 3 minutes. Everyone loves it. You love it, honey.
I do love it. It was so
you go.
good. Yeah, it was
What?
just like great punk rock. And the guitar, like there's like a dual guitar going on, and then at one point in the song, there's like a weird little tempo change for like 10 seconds or something, maybe, or 15 seconds, and then it goes right back. It was great.
Yeah, Craig, you love it too.
No, yes.
Jesus.
No, like it was very close. Like they had, like I think like what Angel was talking about, they had flashes of getting it. I did like the double guitar riff, but when I heard that, I just thought of like Diarrhea Planet. I'm like, you know, it would be better than 2 guitars, like 8,
Yeah,
and just
and?
like
And
riffing
that's
on
true,
the same
you're right.
thing. Yeah, it would have been so much better, like Diarrhea Planet. And like they were almost like embracing some 80s hair metal like riffs with the punk, but then they just like kind of shied away from it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, they were so close to like being there, and then they didn't. But it was good throwback punk. I will admit that it didn't have any like cheesy or like late 90s early 2000s like emo popness to it. So I liked that. It was very centered in where it was coming from. But I think it was an expectations thing where I heard something that I thought they were going to go to, and they just never did, and it was frustrating to me. But I don't know. It was fine. It was better. It was better than your next Santa Rosa track, I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really? All right. Well, we'll see about that.
Getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, that's
I
a
get it.
spoiler. Spoiler
That's for 2
for
weeks,
a
folks.
couple-
Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Now I listen, and I listen to a number of YouTube channels. I'm sure Ano, you must follow some of these too, that talk about pop culture and stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
you know they're generally very nerdy types of people, and they have been really celebrating the fact that Joker is like getting all these Academy Awards. And what I want to know that the mindset, like what is it about that makes them feel like, well, I'm now being respected in a way that Endgame is it Endgame?
The Avengers? Yeah.
Is that what's it called? See, I already forgot. It was like 1 year ago.
Not even a year ago.
But that movie made $1 gajillion. It won the real award, which is called the Money Award. And for some reason, like they need to have like the Academy respect these things. What is it about comic book fans in general that just they need this?
Well, it's because they're slovenly white folk that.
Wait, hold on. I feel
Not
like
all
you're
white folk.
generalizing.
I mean, I can tell you the videos I'm watching, we're not. But I think it's more just a comic book type
Wow.
of person.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say I'm just gonna default it's Gamergate.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know
I'm
how,
still confused
but
about
it
what that
definitely
is,
is.
but I don't want to
It
know
definitely
either.
Yeah, don't go down that route.
No, like I no, let's not. I apologize, Raven. This is what you should go back and delete.
To me,
No, I
like
think
you
a
could
lot
like
of-
this movie, you could like
I think
all
it's
the
just-
comic
it's like a
book movies,
vindication
but
thing,
I
maybe,
don't
I think?
need the Academy to tell me as well they're good.
Yeah, really, who cares?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, well, so you grow up like reading comics, and at some point people are like, oh, this is just a phase. You're gonna grow out of it, and they never do because like
My
comics
parents are
cool.
still very, very sad.
Yeah, they tell fun stories.
wife.
They let you like see things that could never be done like on TV or in movies. Well, I mean, it's getting closer to where they can just do whatever they want in movies, but whether it has any impact or not, like that's something besides the point. But I think it's just a good escape, and you're just told for decades that, oh, this is a thing for children and it's crappy, and then suddenly they get super popular with everybody else, but they still don't get any recognition, and you just feel like everybody's still kind of shitting on the one thing you like that you put like so much into your identity, and then there's a movie that suddenly is like could be seen as like a hit or an actual good movie, and they just glom onto that, and it's like, if this movie wins an award, it'll validate the last 35 years of my life.
I guess that's what he said.
Yeah, it is, and it's true. And if it wins, it's not going to invalidate how crappy their lives have been for 35 years. But they might feel good for a couple of hours.
You know,
In fact, Joaquin Phoenix will probably like give it a speech where he just shits on comic
That would be
books.
great.
That would be the best part of it.
Never read one in my life.
Yeah.
Although I would say
I didn't even realize Joker was a
I
comic
feel
book
like
movie.
I have a hard time calling it a comic book movie because it's not really. Is it really based on anything, like any story or anything like that? And there's nothing like really comic-y about it, right? There's no superhero.
Besides the
there's
characters. Yeah.
There's nothing like.
I would say that like all
very
like
realistic
Batman
story, right?
stuff that's been seen as good in the last like 20 years, they've all been basically ripping off either Frank Miller or Alan Moore to some degree. It's not an adaptation of those things, but they're like, that's the Batman that is true and real. And so any like quote unquote good Batman is always ripping off that instead of the fun zany Batman stuff, which I think is much better.
Yeah, I agree. That is true.
All right, dang fans. All right.
Yeah, I mean, things would be so much better if there weren't any fans.
Yeah, fans
I don't
are
know.
worse.
I mean, I go to the comic book shop every week, so I am a fan. I'm literally still supporting this dying industry, and I just don't. Maybe
Right,
to
but
sound
you're
like
not-
I'm
but
more
you're not a
valuable or
comic
I'm
book
more
fan.
knowledgeable, but it's just like I don't think that I don't need the Academy to say what I like is good, because I also don't think that it is of the same level as that great piece of literature. Like I love it, but it's not a great novel, and I love comic movies. Or I love some comic movies, but they're not great movies. Like I mentioned Parasite before, or The Irishman. Like they actually are good movies. Like why can't we just watch those and say, yeah, watch that movie?
If you want,
I'm about to say
comic
something
book
really
things,
nice.
go get a comic book and read it. That's where that medium is.
Yeah, I'm going to say something really nice to you, Ryan, and after that, I'm back on my bullshit. It's because you're a well-adjusted human being.
What? Can you tell that to my wife?
Yeah, get
I
your
think
wife
she needs to
in
hear it from someone else.
Yeah, get her on the mic.
Yeah. Tell my daughter too.
Just
My daughter actually said the best thing ever the other day. Now that they're in Catholic school, and my daughter came home and she said, "Dad, God loves everyone." I'm like, oh, that's great. Does he love me? No.
Wow.
Thanks for
Damn, Slim.
Let's go to the next track because I'm
Yeah.
sure we're all gonna love this one. This is from a submission from a band we've talked about before, a band called Holy Contour with their song "Gonna Make It Easy."
You get in touch with me halfway around the world or across the sea. Gonna make it easy. Gonna make it easy. Gonna make it. She was like, he was like, we were like, they were like. I said, gonna make it, gonna make it, gonna make it, gonna make it easy for you. You get in touch with me.
Okay, it is a submission, and I actually really, really love this song. And I was a little unsure with this band the last time we talked about them. I forgot which episode it was.
Wait, was I around for the other band? For the
time?
I don't know
Okay,
if you
'cause
were.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah, but it was like just a weird track, and I thought, is this like just being silly, or is it just a goofy thing? And it was a cover as well, and I thought, I just don't know about that. But this track, I really love this. I love the lyrics. I feel like it sounds so weird, and it's just, it requires multiple listens to get the true reward from it. And it's a big step up for this band, at least compared to the stuff that I heard before. So, Anel, do you like this? Do you hate this? Are you confused by this? What is it?
I did like it, but also confused by it. But I did like it. And I was sad that it was so short. It's like a 2-minute song.
And it's the longest song on the record.
Oh, yeah.
But I
it's-
enjoyed
yeah,
it.
by
I mean,
like
the
a
rhythm
minute.
of it was great. I loved it.
Craig, you love it too?
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, so I actually went back to the old episode where we talked about the track that we found of theirs, and I remember
Look at that professionalism.
Yeah, and on that one I talked about how I didn't like the track that you chose for them, but I liked everything else that was on that album. And yeah, so this track I absolutely loved, and like Hunky said, this was way too short, and I could have taken like an 8-minute version of this. I listened to everything that I listened to from them I liked. I will say, their songs are short. It feels like they need to be fleshed out a little bit because they just kind of start and stop without a beginning or an end almost feel to it. So it all feels a little bit unfinished, but I love the style and what they pull off, and it's great. So they can just keep on sending stuff in as they
absolutely
write and record.
I will
more
say I was a
stuff.
little worried because I read the bio first, and the bio is just like a bunch of words that I didn't understand, and I was like, "What is this going to sound like?" So I was glad that it.
What? I did not look at
Yeah, check it out.
I did not look at that. What was it like?
I don't know. It's just a bunch of stuff.
I mean, great bands like Frank Zappa, for example. Like, yeah, it's very. I mean, he put a lot of effort into music. He wasn't just like throwing a bunch of junk together.
Right.
But it's also pretty ridiculous, and it's supposed to be funny. So I'm not sure if this is also that. Like, yeah, I really care about this, but it's also ridiculous.
Maybe.
Well, it's also the irony of Frank Zappa having like 40-minute long songs, and they would have about 85 songs in that time.
Yeah, that is true. Very, very true. Let's take a look at our last track here. This is one from Athens, Greece, from a band called Deaf Radio, with their song Modern Panic. This has got to be a Hungy song because there's like 8,000 people who have bought this, right? Am I right? Am I right?
I honestly don't know. I feel like 8,000 is high for Bandcamp. I don't think anyone has 8,000.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 100 is like you're a huge success.
Yeah, you've made it. Yeah, it was me.
To me, I think if I see like 2 or 3, I'm like, wow, these people have listeners.
They're like the Vizaural music of the Bandcamp world.
Yeah, I figure like each square with somebody's head in it is got to be at least 1,000 people.
Okay,
that's what it equals to in Bandcamp conversion.
Yeah, like the number of people that listen and stop by versus and like actually like it versus the ones that like engage with it in that way.
Throw a dollar in
it's close
the
to that.
box. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ono, why this track?
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
no,
I'll be in Athens, Greece in a couple of weeks, so maybe I'll find these guys. We can hang out. Yeah, my wife and I are going.
But yeah, I like this because it has like a very it's very epic. It's like a 5.5 minute song, but it feels longer. It feels like a very epic song. It has this really like dirgy kind of sound to it, kind of like almost gothy maybe kind of sounding, or what I consider to be gothy at times.
I'd say more gothic.
There you go. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, gothic. You're right. Gothic. But yeah, it's just like just big song. It just felt like a big song when I heard it, and I liked it.
Yeah, I like that it was even a little proggy, like not proggy in the like super noodly, close to the edge kind of stuff, but like when some of those prog bands are trying to get a little more pop centered, I was like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit of this. It's got those big riffs. It's obviously a bunch of layers to it. Really professional sounding. It was a good song. How about you, Craig?
I want to hear Ryan pronounce the band members' names.
I don't have it in front of me, so I won't be able to do that.
They are very Greek.
Yeah, sweet. What, 8,000 syllables? Where like, oh my god,
all
it's
in
a
a
paragraph
row.
of text here.
Yep, all in a row, and it's like those. Yeah, I'm pretty sure half these letters don't even exist. Mm-hmm. But
I will say, I'm always impressed when someone can. I don't know, like they're from Greece, but like you can't tell. Like that's kind of crazy. I don't know how people do that.
It's because they're all listening to our culture.
Yeah, I
our
guess that's what
stuff,
it is.
I think they just
seems so weird to
practice it all the time. Yeah.
All right, can I?
Yeah,
go
for it. Go for
yes,
it.
you can.
So I liked a lot of what the bones of the track kind of were, but I think I felt that it was a little too grounded in like modern pop rock sensibilities. Like a lot of like the singing style felt a little too like commercial to me, and that's again, I'm filled with like really dumb critiques this week. But
Why don't you go back to your commune? Commie.
I fucking wish I could, man. I think it just was like, it felt a little too overproduced, and I listened to a lot of the other tracks on there because I'm like, no, I understand what they're trying to do, I dig it, but it just doesn't hit me the right way, and a lot of the other tracks were way better. Like, this one was like one of the slower songs, and like Hungy said, was a little more kind of dirgy and plotting and stuff, and I liked the heavier stuff, and like the other stuff felt a little more almost 90s, like 90s alternative rock, as opposed to like modern pop rock, and almost like him singing like Maroon 5-ish type of stuff, or what I assume like Maroon 5
Well, he seems a little
sings
high
like.
Maroon 5, but okay.
Well, yeah, but this guy every once in a while got his little falsetto up there. But yeah, I just felt it was almost too polished, and it kind of like took off the rough edges that would make something like this really stand out.
Fair enough. That's
I get it.
Yeah, kind of like the Joker.
I actually want to know, of all the films this year, because we talked about the Joker. Ano hasn't seen the Joker. I saw it. I thought it was just okay. It would have been a fine enough movie if it was not about Batman or the Joker. Like, it was just Joaquin Phoenix doing a crazy person. Like, okay, that could actually been a cool movie. We had no expectations of that. Wasn't trying to force
they
like
already
the Batman
made that
movie.
Right, yeah. I think if it had been a
They already
non-Joker
made that
movie.
movie with Joaquin.
I know. He's made it a couple times.
Yeah, like it felt like, what was that? I forget the name of the other movie that like where he killed dudes with like a hammer or whatever. Like that was basically a better version of Joker.
I didn't like that movie either.
And he got nothing for it.
I didn't really like that
What was
movie
that?
either. Oh, I should say either, but
Yeah, I mean, it was very slow and
Yeah.
nothing happened, but like, but it was still a better version of this because they didn't have like the weight and the baggage of,
Yep.
How long has Batman and Joker been around? Like 80
it's been a
fucking
while.
years. And then you
been
just
almost
have all
100.
these.
Depends on which version you're reading, because they reboot it every 3 years. New 52 or the blah blah blah. Yeah, anyway, I mean, Craig didn't like the movie. Did we guys like any movie this year? Was there anything that came out that either the Academy has noted or didn't talk about at all? That you're like, yeah, go watch that movie.
I'd rewatch Battleship.
Oh my
You're
god,
the worst.
I don't usually tell people to kill themselves, Craig, but you might need to do that.
Wow.
I would say of the-
What about Hobbs and Shaw?
Craig has a very
No, like,
hilarious
in
taste
all
in movies.
In all honesty, I watch really bad movies and like really
so
dumb
do I.
action movies because like they're like, it's just it's hard for me to sit down for like 2 hours and be like, okay, I need this to like change my life or whatever. Like, I don't like most of the Oscar movies. I don't think I watch, and I don't really want to watch. But that Gerard Butler movie, where like the third of the
Yeah.
Fallen movies, oh man, that was so
Oh, it
good.
looks so bad.
It was awful and trash, but man, it was so good.
I've seen the
Gerard
other two, but
Butler
this
is
one
a
looks
sneaky
terrible.
bad movie guy.
I
Gerard
mean,
Butler is up there.
I recently
the bad
got
movie
like
greatness.
a box set of the old Hitchcock films. I have a box set of all his good films, and I rewatched a film that he actually made in
pre-American
Santa
movies?
Rosa called Shadow of a Doubt. And it is just amazing, like how one little film with just like there's no special effects. It's the 1930s. I mean, the special effects are like maybe a map screen or something like that. It's
The
just
special effects where it was a moving picture.
yeah, but it's just like it's
Sound.
how intense it is and how much you care about the characters, and it's just I realized I need to watch more movies like that, and there's plenty of people making them.
Yeah.
Like, I know he brought up The Irishman, but gosh, that movie is so good, and I know it's Martin Scorsese, and he'll probably win awards. He's already an established person; he doesn't need any more accolades. But
Well,
like,
the irony being that Scorsese like has won just one
has he?
major
The Departed,
award.
I think.
Well, that's a
Yeah, it
travesty
was-
then.
It wasn't for like one of his movies that wasn't actually very good, and they just felt like, we better just.
Yeah,
fucking
I
give
want
it
to say,
him.
didn't he win for The Departed?
Sorry,
I don't think he did.
Hugo maybe.
I did. The part was just alright too. I mean, it was great.
I like
it was
that
a
movie.
way better movie than most people make, but it's like in the pantheon of Scorsese films, this is not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, the original was better.
I don't know if it was better, but it was good.
How about you, Anno?
Yes.
You watch more quality movies because you made a conscious choice to stop watching that shit.
I did.
Well,
Yeah.
did you?
Not watching Battleship for the 8,000th time. God.
Well,
I
I
definitely-
feel like, but he also watches like Miami Connection and movies.
Those
like
are
that.
great.
no, those are
are
good.
great movies.
But no one is saying that's like
Right.
a high
Yeah, yeah.
class. It's like, what is this bizarre thing?
Yeah, I would say of the movies that were nominated, I really enjoyed Parasite. it's a fantastic movie, and South Korea has been for a long time making like very, very good movies, and I'm glad that they're really finally getting like, you know, attention on that. And the second one, I would say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love that movie. It's definitely one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it.
It's a weird movie. It's definitely a weird movie. The plot is weird, but
Like I feel like I don't have to watch it because I know who's in it and I'm familiar with Quentin Tarantino, so I know like how everybody's going to be acting in it, and like
there is some subtlety though. I do like the comment on like the changing in Hollywood.
There's no subtlety in a Quentin Tarantino.
There is,
and that's why I will give that film some credit. Where like the what's oh my gosh, not Brad Pitt. What's the other guy?
I just want you
LDC?
to try to do it.
I don't.
LDC.
The pretty boy from Titanic.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, LDC.
Oh,
Leonardo
actually, Joe
DiCaprio.
Pesci would be great in that role. They should have had Joe Pesci as Leonardo DiCaprio. It would have been a great year for Joe Pesci.
Yeah, but you know, I'm also like a
Anyway.
very big fan of the '60s and that decade, and it's just I thought he did set design. I mean, it's not him, you know, but all of that set design and production into it was really great too.
Yeah, and as someone who doesn't live in Hollywood and isn't all that enthralled by it, I like films about like Hollywood. Like I love Sunset Boulevard. I like the films about people who are like you've been left behind. The industry has changed, and this is where you're at. Well, how about this show? Let's look at the 7 best songs here. What is your best in show, Craig? You got to tell us which one of these is top of the list.
Oh boy, I didn't think that far ahead. I forgot that we do this.
You were thinking about Battleship too much as you critiqued the Joker.
Yeah.
You've been critiquing the Joker the whole episode, and you said the best film you should watch is a film from 15 years ago that is utter garbage.
Excuse me, it came out in 2012. Thank you very much.
Oh, it just seems like it's been in our lives for too
It was
long.
ahead of its time, though. Really,
Well, I do talk about it way too much.
it came out in 2012, but it feels like it came
But
out in
Hungy-
2025.
But Angel, when I made you watch the movie, did you not
It is
enjoy it?
it is a great movie. But I mean,
Yeah. So fuck you, Ryan.
We've just undermined our whole piece, our whole argument about film and quality, and here you are talking about this terrible, terrible, terrible schlock. It's not even fun. Anyway, what's the best in show here? Make me angry.
I'm gonna go. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Holy Contour.
Ooh,
interesting.
Yeah.
all right. I know. How about you?
I'm gonna say Daisy Godfrey because she was wearing a shirt and looked cool.
That's true. She was wearing a shirt. You know, that's pretty impressive. When you think about
It's
it.
amazing.
No, I gotta say Daisy Godfrey as well. I mean, that was just a great song. Other than her wearing a shirt, it's like a really good track. So, you know, you should listen to that one. All right, folks out there.
Close number 2 behind her shirt was this song.
If you have some problems with any of our reviews or comments here, make sure you email us at visceralmusic@gmail.com. And if you have music and you want us to listen to it right now, you know, we get a couple of submissions here and there, but we almost surely are going to listen to your track and we'll share it out there. So please send it along the way. And on that note, don't go see Joker. Have a good one.
Bye.
Peace.